Okay, welcome back to restoring my very first car I found in a junkyard sitting since about 1998. So I started really getting to work on this thing today. Started pulling apart the interior so I can get this thing cleaned up. So let's kind of go over what I pulled. So there's the console surround for the radio. It's ruined, so I won't be able to reuse it. Center armrest ruined. The silver radio surround is ruined, and the console shifter surround is ruined. Here's the parts I think I can save. Let's move my so I'm hoping I can save my odometer and gauge cluster here. The electrical contacts were actually in really good shape. As you can see there. So I don't think it got too wet or too corroded, but I think it can be saved, I'm hoping. Here's the original miles on the car, 105,910. So I'd really like to be able to save this gauge cluster. And then this is a metal piece surrounding the HVAC controls, the back of the gauge cluster, the speaker grills. I'm going to try to save those. That's underneath of the gauge cluster. Ashtrays, if not the switches, the plastic piece. And this isn't broken, so I'm hoping I can save it too. So I'm saving everything in this box here. Here's the trunk carpet. Actually cleaned up really nice. I pressure washed it. Used some Purple Power degreaser. Pressure wash that in and let it sit about 20 minutes. Did a second treatment, sit, and then power washed it off. It actually cleaned up really well. Still need to take out the taillights. So here's the interior. You definitely have a mouse nest there. Looks like the engine harness was pulled out, so I'm gonna have to have some sort of harness there pulled in. I'm gonna pull the computer out and see if it can be saved, hopefully. The center console is skeleton is pretty much ruined. These wires. God, I was an idiot 14-year-old trying to put in amps and all kinds of stuff. I didn't even do a good job, really. The window switches were so rusty, being exposed to the elements for 20 years, that they actually disintegrated in the harness there. So I imagine I will have to replace the entire C500 harness. That harness right there, I'll have to replace. I'm sure of it. There's just too much cut and spliced into to mess with, so I will probably just replace it. It's not that difficult to replace. I've done it once before recently. Still has the dinger from Pontiac. That's going to go away. Couple mud dauber nests. See, there's the speaker wire. Things like that I'm talking about. I just need to pull a whole new harness. The radio harness has been cut. So the dash surprisingly was in great condition. These corners are actually still pliable. So I think the dash will clean up. I may have to get new of these side vents and paint these bolts. Kind of rusty. But there's no cracking on the dash actually. Another dauber nest. I hate this style here. I like the map pocket instead. But you don't see these very often. So I may try to save it and reuse that. No cracking there either. Top of the dash is the same way. It's just actually in just really good shape. I have a new center vent, or I can repaint that one black. A lot of people don't realize this, but this hole here is for the V6 models. This is where the secondary AUX gauge cluster goes, is right there. All models got that. So it's the same dash between a 4-cylinder, V6, whatever. I mean, there's just crap falling everywhere. I'm gonna have to take this whole venting system out and clean it, which is okay, not a big deal. So here's what it looks like, guys. Just continuing to work away at it. Tomorrow I'm hoping to have the carpet out and inspect the floors a little bit better. But this is where I'm going to stop for the night. We got a nice sunset here in Iowa. I'm going to relax with the kids. And yeah, call it an evening. So, yep. So I don't care so much about the harness since I'm just going to replace it. I'm going to get new doors. I have new doors, so that's okay. I'm just going to strip these doors off and just throw them out. And yeah, we'll call it a night. So I'm going to flip this camera around here. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Keep going on the journey with me as I bring back my very first car I ever owned that's been sitting in a junkyard since 1998. So thanks again. Have a great night.